The power of palmistry can be used for more than just telling someone's fortune. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use palmistry to get him back after a breakup and make him want you again. Hey, my name is Sam, and today I'm going to show you how to use the ancient art of palm reading as a way for getting your ex back after a breakup. It's scientifically proven that we subconsciously think about what we do or don't like about our partner, so by using some clever tricks on his own hands he'll miss you and see your side of things more clearly. Have you found your shattered heart lying on the floor after a breakup? Does it feel like that no matter how much you try, you can never get him back? Well, here's why. You're trying to win him back using the wrong techniques. And there's one reason why they don't work. You're basing them off of what worked for other people, not what works for you and your ex-boyfriend specifically. You need custom strategies designed specifically around him and his personality to bring him back fast and make him yours again. Well, guess what? I'm about to reveal exactly how to do this, and by tonight. And if you can follow these instructions exactly as given below, then you will succeed for sure. First and foremost, don't do anything drastic like try to call him. You'll just make things worse if you're not careful. Once you've gotten over the initial shock of what happened, it's time to treat your breakup like a cold that needs curing. Palmistry is actually pretty good at curing breakups once you know how to use it correctly. The key is in analyzing your hand shape and lines before applying palmistry techniques so you can get an accurate reading on how he feels about the current situation. The good news is we'll be going over all of these important points below, so keep reading. Here's what you need: a quiet space where you won't be disturbed for at least half an hour. A clear, well-lit area where you can examine your hand without interruption. A notepad and pen to take notes. This is very important. Determine your hand shape. Step number 1. There are 5 different types of hand shapes in palmistry. They are classified by the length of each finger. The shape must be determined based on the way all your fingers look when your palm is flat against a table or in one's own lap. This method will ensure that you're getting an accurate reading. The following information applies if you've got the longer fingers among the 5 hand shapes. You'll want to use this technique to get him back after a breakup regardless of which type of hands you have. Determine the length of each finger in relation to the rest. Step number 2. This step is critical when it comes to accurately determining how he feels about you in your current situation. If you're looking for a way to get him back after a breakup, pay close attention because this is where things start getting interesting. You'll find that each finger represents either yourself, him, or the relationship itself, or perhaps all three. To figure out which one it is, ask yourself these questions while examining your hand. Which finger is longest? This will represent you, the subject, in the reading. What happens if I push down on each finger at its base? This will tell you how willing he is to be with you right now. What do my knuckles look like? This will reveal how he is feeling about the relationship itself. Analyzing your shapes. Step number 3. Now that you've got all the necessary info compiled, it's time to get analyzing. Here are some different scenarios you might run into when using this method. Make sure to be honest with yourself when determining which analysis fits best for your situation before continuing on. The scenario number 1. You, the subject, are long and slender, longest finger. He, the object, is short and wide, widest finger. Your relationship is somewhere in between these 2 extremes, middle-length fingers. Let's break down what each means in the grand scheme of things. This represents a love that has not been fully realized. He must become more committed or he will easily leave you for someone else. That being said, it also means your man isn't fed up with you yet and still wants to be with you. Of course, this doesn't mean everything's going great. But you don't need me to tell you that. This position also means he's pretty good at playing the field and flirting with other women. Use it to your advantage if you want to get revenge after he broke up with you. But know that this won't solve anything in the long run. Scenario number 2. You, the subject, are short and stout, shortest finger. He, the object, is longer than average, middle-length fingers. The relationship falls somewhere in between these 2 extremes, middle-length fingers. This represents an imbalance. His feelings are stronger than yours, which creates an unfair dynamic where you feel like you're constantly giving more towards the relationship. If this is the case, you may want to question whether or not he's worth all this effort. This position also means he won't be able to resist your advances for very long, especially if they're coming from a place of playfulness rather than neediness. You, the subject, are longer than average, longest finger. Scenario number 3. He, the object, is shorter than average, shortest finger. This represents an imbalanced love where one person is more committed than the other. It would be your job to remedy this by showing him how great you are and letting him know how much you truly care about. The key to getting your ex back is to take a step back from the situation and assess it objectively. In this article I'm going to introduce you to the ultimate palmistry method, aka TUMP. What is palm reading? The art of palm reading has been around for thousands of years, dating back as far as ancient Greece and Babylon, where they had their own form of hand analysis known as chiromancy. It was introduced into the Western world during the 1st century AD by Greek physician Claudius Galen. He became quite popular after predicting that Emperor Vespasian would die soon after he returned home. Which, he did. Types of palm reading. There are 3 main types of palm reading which can be used depending on your needs. Chiromancy, fortune-telling. Achromatic, past life recall and such. Chirogynecology, fertility reading. Not what we're going to discuss here. TUMP method. Palmistry is the most predominant form of chirogynecology in use today. Of course, not all palm readers will be able to determine your fertility by looking at your hands, so you might need an added help. But who said that I can't just give it away? The TUMP method works with a combination of physical indications on the palms and fingers. However, there are no set rules for what each detail means. This makes chairology quite subjective. Your chairologist will usually try to explain what they see on the palm and fingers of your hands and how it is relevant to you. The ultimate palmistry method, TUMP. This method is quite simple. I'm going to share with you a few tricks and techniques which you can use as an indication of what your ex really thinks about your relationship. How does it work? Like most things, we all subconsciously pick up on visual cues from those around us without them even knowing that we're listening. How many times have you noticed someone looking at their watch when talking to you only for the reason that they're trying to tell you that they haven't got time for unnecessarily lengthy conversations? You've probably also noticed someone yawning if you're rambling on about something that isn't particularly interesting. I'm sure we've all heard stories of how someone's phone seems to ring as soon as their date has decided they would like it to be over. It's the exact same thing with palmistry. Top 5 signs your ex still loves you, palm reading edition. 1. Little finger. This is the easiest one out of the whole TUMP method and should never be underestimated. If your ex is looking at the little finger, it represents your ex thinking about you and wanting to know what you're up to, even if they're not quite ready to commit just yet, or ever. 2. Middle finger. If your ex is looking at his middle finger, then he will secretly wish that you were still together. This could include people who have been together for a very long time and are likely to still be in love if they haven't met somebody new. The only reason that the middle finger is present here, however, is due to an underlying fear of commitment towards your ex. 3. Ring finger. This one is always quite easy to work out. He's thinking about you and would like you to get back together again. He's not necessarily seen anyone else yet, especially if it has only been a short period since the breakup. But chances are good that if his ring finger is extended, then he wants you back in his life. 4. Index finger. If your ex thinks about you when looking at his index finger, then there's good news. He's waiting for you. His mind is almost always on you, however long it's been since the breakup. 5. Thumb. This one is pretty simple to work out. Irrespective of whether your ex still loves you or not, if he thinks about you when looking at his thumb, then he wants to be back in touch with you. Other things you should look for apart from these 5 signs. There are several other things that could indicate that your ex still has feelings for you, which you should try and look out for, if they're not already mentioned above. These include a bent middle finger looking at the ring finger while the index finger is pointing towards his eyes or touching them, ring finger extending towards his little finger ridges on the palm of the hand. These represent passion and love. What to do if you see these indications? If you've managed to successfully decipher the meaning behind your ex's hand gestures, then it may be time that you give them another call, or send them a text. But don't frighten them away by bombarding him with messages. Allow him some space so he can think about what you could potentially have together. It might take several weeks for him to realize this, however, so please be patient. Now it's time to look at a special region on your hands, which is the lifeline. This line basically tells financial information from its origin near the pinky finger, all the way up to where it meets with Jupiter's curse, an invisible line that starts across from your little finger and goes down into hell until meeting with Satan's asshole, another invisible line that starts across from your thumb and goes upwards towards heaven. To get your ex back, you need to figure out where the lifeline ends. If it ends near your little finger, then congratulations, you can live off of him for free, for next 5 years after he dumps you. However, if it stops somewhere closer to Jupiter's curse, then that means there isn't enough money in life anyways, so don't bother trying to get him back. Unless you have some sort of rich uncle who is willing to give you a job. But this video will assume that it stops on or very close to Jupiter's curse, because most people don't have rich uncles, so they are stuck with working hard at life just like everyone else has had to since the dawn of time. The best way I've found by getting your ex back after a breakup is to be the nicest person he's met in his whole life. This approach works by first getting him to start thinking positively about you again, then doing something dramatic like saying you're pregnant or have cancer so that he realizes what he had before wasn't so bad, after all, you know, your sparkling personality. If this fails, try calling him every day at 3 p.m. for 2 weeks straight to see if he'll pick up. This method has been tried and tested many times, but it still doesn't work because most people are very stupid and don't appreciate the effort others put into them unless there is some sort of reward involved afterwards. But for now, good luck using this method to get back together with your lover. Oops, I mean ex-lover. It's the only way you'll know if he really loves you or not. Hope you find this video, the ultimate palmistry technique to get him back after breakup, useful. And if you want more videos on highbrow, make sure you subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. If you feel the content is useful, please hit the like button. I really hope this video helps, and if you have any questions or doubts, please leave a comment below, and we will revert back.